Okay friends, so what we're going to do today is we're going to start with creating some colored paper that we're going to rip up and create into our mountains later. So what we take our paper first, we're going to take our scrap paper that we are going to need that, just not right now. And we're going to take it and we're going to fold it up. And if I remember correctly, my friends, we called this a hamburger style fold or a book fold because it is about the size of a book. And you fold it. And then we're going to take it again and we're going to fold it in half again because we want to make it have 4 parts in it. Okay? Now remember, when you're folding, we need to make sure that we're trying to line up our corners. Now you can see my corners aren't lined up perfect, but they're very, very close. So make sure that when you're folding, you're trying to line them up as straight as possible. And if you need help, please be sure to ask your parents or an older sibling for help. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna tell you 2 ways to do this. The first way is, if you have paints at home, you can paint this. And you can just paint this by adding white to your paint. But not everybody has paint at home, so we're gonna do it with crayon. So, we're basically gonna make a value scale. Now I showed you examples of value scale in our presentation today. And the way you make a value scale with crayon is you start with one section. So you can see the folded part. Those are sections. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to color as light as possible, but enough for where we can still see it's blue. And we want to spread out our crayon. We don't want it super close together, and we don't want it overlapping a whole lot. We want it to be blue, but we don't want it to be super dark yet. Now, my friends, for your first background, for your mountain color, I should have mentioned this sooner, you want to have a cool color. So you can pick any blue or purple or green color if you want, if you so choose. But for the mountains, we really want to have cool colors. Now I started off there. Now this section here, I need to color it darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down a little bit harder, but not very much harder, because if I press on too hard, I don't want to be too hard on it. Just enough to make it look darker. And I'm overlapping, and as you can see, my crayon marks are much closer together in this second one. It also looks much darker. As you can see, if I spread them out, it becomes too light. So now this next one, we're going to press down a little bit harder. Now, if you guys notice, when I'm drawing, I may not explain this, and I talked about it before when I'm coloring. If I hold my pencil farther back or my crayon farther back, it's harder for me to press down harder if I hold it farther back. It's not impossible, it just is more difficult to press down super hard. Now, as I move closer with my crayon, or move my crayon closer to my tips of my fingers, I can make a darker color without pressing any harder than what I did on the previous 2. Okay? So the closer your hand is to the end of your crayon or any coloring material, such as a colored pencil or a marker, the harder and darker your lines are going to be.